Hello Aries, thank you very much for tuning into your general read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Witch's Tarot by Ellen Dugan. For supportive oracle cards, I'm using Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. Already shuffled. Let's go ahead and get them going. 3, 7. It does feel like it goes down there. Aries. So far you got a lot of cards. I'm just going to go for that. Go ahead and say that. This may have a good ending. And I see, like, the card you have there, I didn't really think was going to be that good, but I think you might actually have a really good ending here that we have to get there first. Alright, so I do think you're heading for a good ending, though. When you're coming into the situation, you got the King of Pentacles on the other side, which is stability and knowing what a person wants, but I also feel like stubborn. I'm getting this. I didn't realize there's chainmail below his robe, but that also signifies to me a lot of protection. Very protective of what he's doing. He, she, they, whoever they may be. You're dealing with somebody who's very protective of what they're doing, and it's not a bad thing. But what I see with you is you got the Queen of Cups, the Knight of Wands, and the Three of Pentacles all coming in. You're attracted to this situation. You got literally the attraction. But if you look at this, it's like you have big dreams. Big dreams, big ideas. You know what I mean? You have a lot here you want to come in with. A lot here you're feeling for it. You're like, this could be great. Very motivated. Very willing to do the work. I want to be a part of this. And I want to help this go in a better direction. I want to improve things here. You have a lot of energy. But what you're coming up against here with the King of Pentacles, which again, don't get caught up in the gender, is the Four of Pentacles is what's actually happening. You're having a hard time convincing this energy, this person, to do anything, to change, to go forward. But you're like, I have a whole bunch of ideas. I think this could be great. Very excited. But you're not easily daunted when you're truly inspired. So as it keeps going forward, you keep working with this energy and you create the Ten of Pentacles. Kind of like, well, I understand you want to keep the majority of this the same, but let's test this. Let's test that. I'm getting a lot of a testing feel. Like, you're convincing them to test this and test that. And I'm getting the Four of Cups where you are winning this person over. You are making your point. It's just taking longer than you'd like. You're like, I'd really like to just step forward and get this going, but I got to prove that this will work. So the Four of Cups is kind of like you are kind of winning out. You are kind of getting what you need, but you're not quite happy with how it's going. You're like, I could go, like, if I had my way, this would go a lot faster. This would just go forward. But you're having to prove it, and you're having to go through these tests in a sense. And you're kind of like, I don't really like it, but at least I'm moving forward. It's not bad. It's really not bad. It's just depending with that Four of Cups. Usually when the Four of Cups shows up, the person it's for is not really happy with the situation. It's going well, but not as well as they'd like. Now, the other side here with the King of Pentacles, this King of Pentacle energy, I feel like is going through the whole situation. They've got the Seven of Wands. Now this is kind of it can be a defending energy, but it's usually kind of like a success through working for it, like working for the success. And I feel like they're holding their own with you. They're kind of pushing you back. They're allowing some small changes, even though you're proving that, you know, you have good ideas and these can work. They're still kind of holding you back. They're like, well, no, we're not moving anything too fast because I like the situation. Very protective, very, very protective of the situation. So you're having some it's kind of hard to move this forward. It's not happening very easily. And you got a bunch of cards here out in the center. It's hunger is what it says, but it's the Moon with the Wolf, which is kind of like a teacher energy. It's kind of like a lot of energy. You got the Void, which is Dark Moon. Basically, you don't have anything. Nothing's happening the way you want, but literally then you got the Moon. You got, like, it's almost like the triple moon to me. Because if you look on that one, it's like, it's a crescent moon above that lady. Even though it's the moon card, they put the crescent moon above her. It's like you have the triple goddess, or the triple god, whatever you want. You have all three aspects here, the beginning, the middle, and the end. It's all together. It's like you're trying to start something new, you're trying to end something, and you're trying to keep something the way it was at the same time. Everything, like this is the energy you're dealing with. It's kind of like, what do we keep, what do we get rid of, and what do we start new? Like, is this why this is so hard? Because I feel like all this energy comes in at one time. Like, what do we got to get rid of? What do we have to put away? What are we going to replace it with, but what are we going to keep? It's like there's like a lot of back and forth about these three elements. And I'm getting, you're ready to learn more, you're ready to do more, you have a lot of big ideas, but the other side's worried about, like, but what are we going to lose because of this? And it's like, what are we going to start beginning, and what are we going to start? It's like, that's what it keeps going back and forth. It's a lot of back and forth is what I'm getting. There's three big crows out in the road right now. They're huge. Just hanging out in the road. That's cool. Sorry, they just caught my attention. While this is happening, you got the Nine of Swords. Like, oh my God, you're beating me to death. Like, it's taking forever. Can we make a decision? Can we do something a little different? Can we move this forward? It's hard. This is like, it's not like argument hard. It's just kind of like you want things to move forward, and you're just like, we're still talking about this, we're still talking about this, we're still talking about this, we're still talking about this. And you're like, I want to make something happen. I want to actually create something here. I want to make something happen. And it's just a lot of talking. But the energy you're working with, again, is very protective about the situation. So they're like, we're not going to do anything willy-nilly. I'm not going to take any big risks. I'm only going to allow certain things to change because the situation as a whole, I have to be comfortable. It's going to be safe and secure. But on the upside, after a while, you do come to a fair agreement. You have the Three of Cups on your side. You do find a way to work with this. I don't feel like you get nearly as many changes as you want, but you get enough to where you see possibilities for big growth. Enough changes so you see possibilities for big growth. There's a lot that stayed the same, but I feel like it works out, and you're like, what you do get, you're happy to get, because you're like, this was a 1.5-day trip to get this much. So it does work out. And I do see like you're making the best of it. Like whatever the changes you get to make, I don't feel like they're huge, but they're enough. Because like they're not huge, but you can angle them and you can use them and you can grow from them and you can prove that this is a good way to go. You're like, this is all I need. It's kind of like you get a little shack out in the backyard to make your little wine or whatever you want to do. And you're like, it's enough. I can do this and I can make enough money from this. I can make this prosperous enough to show that we need to expand this. That's okay, because it's kind of like you're going in the sense of like, what we're doing is making enough changes so I can have a little side spot over here where I can prove that this works, and then maybe that'll branch off on its own. The main will stay the same, and then I'll branch off, and then as that gets more and more lucrative, we can make that bigger. I kind of feel like this is going off in the woods a little bit, to be honest. But I see, like, basically, whatever changes you were able to make, you are making good on them. And you're happy with that, and you're focusing on that with the Empress. You're like, all right, I gotta honor the main energy here, and I can do that. That's fine. And then I'll use what I want over here. The changes I was able to get, I will, I'll optimize those the best I can and make that a very strong energy to prove that this is a good idea. Now, the other side is very happy with this, because there's not a lot of changes, but there's enough that you're happy. They feel very secure with what did stay the same. They're very happy with what did change. They're very satisfied that you're going to be able to hold up your end of the bargain, so they feel very calm and trusting that you're going to be able to do what you need to do. This is kind of like both sides are ending up quite happy. Now, the ending here I do feel is good, and when I originally saw this, I wasn't sure. But because both of you are happy, I'm getting the Hanged Man with the boundaries, which is not bad. I feel like this actually is something you might like, because it means the changes that you got, you're going to keep. And you're going to be able to do what you want with them. But that's your ball. I don't see the other side really getting involved with that. The mixing of the energies doesn't seem to happen, again, for a long while. The Hanged Man is saying that there's a lot of boundaries here, literally boundaries. That's the boundaries card. So you're able to do what you want to, and I feel like you're being left alone to do what you want to with what you got. The other side's staying over on their side. It's like, stay on your side of the hall, I'll stay on my side of the hall. It's not in a negative way, it's in a positive way. Like, I'm going to concentrate on what I have. I'll leave you alone over there. You leave me alone over here. It's cool. And I feel like you're like, yep, that works for me. That's cool. We're good. This actually, I feel like it's giving you some freedom, actually. That's why I think this is not feeling bad, is because they're staying over, whoever the King of Pentacles energy is, they're staying off to their self. They're leaving you alone. There's a mutual agreement. They'll leave you alone if you leave them alone, and then you both just get to do what you want to do. The Hanged Man is saying it stays like this for a while. And as long as those boundaries are upheld, and I feel like that's why they put the boundaries card with it, as long as those boundaries are upheld, it'll stay like this and you'll continue with that freedom. And that's how this is ending. I think that's good. Alright, I'm going to shut that down there. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching, of course. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.